top of your head, who invented peanut butter? Who originally sang Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog? And who, again without looking at anything, pioneered the idea of behavioral conditioning? Here are the answers to the questions, in order. It's the Aztecs, Big Mama Thornton, and B.F. Skinner. If you got any of those answers, good for you. I think you're on the right track. If you don't agree with the answers, hopefully it might get you to do some research and prove me wrong. I love being wrong, by the way, as long as I'm proven wrong and I'm factually wrong and not by a technicality or something. But sometimes we get these answers wrong and we don't do anything about it. And that sounded very pointed, but I assure you, I mean no ill will. I'm not accusing anyone of being ignorant or anything, because I think sometimes not knowing those answers doesn't affect us in any way. I mean, how does it benefit you to know that the brown stuff you put on your bread was made in the 15th century? I'm not an astrophysicist. Why would I care about the theory of relativity? I remember when I was in elementary school, we were taught about the first Prime Minister of Canada, Sir John A. Macdonald, and I remember thinking, wow, this is useless information. Then I entered the street dance world and found the nugget of information that Elvis Presley wasn't the original singer of Hound Dog. For you, it might not be important, but for street dancers, it's an example of how easy it is to be overshadowed as an originator. I've seen this when I go learn dance from someone. There's always a handful of people that are there to learn the moves without the history of the movement, without the context of it. In my opinion, the history and context is there to provide the basis of creation. So if a dancer is familiar with their history, they would be able to create new movement similar to the moves that they already learned. To put it in a different context, as an engineer, you kind of need to know Newton's laws to be able to understand conservation of energy. Newton's laws also form the conceptual foundation of structural calculations too, if I remember correctly. I'll give you another example. I recently watched a YouTube video by Jesse Enkamp where he joined a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament to prove it doesn't work. He pointed out that BJJ is historically a last resort style when everything else doesn't work, and that the ground is the last place you want to be. And one of the things he says in that video is those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. I guess the point is no one would go to the route if it wasn't relevant to where they want to go or what they want to do in life, unless they were curious. I think if you have a healthy level of curiosity with a sensible amount of caution, and I say caution because we don't want to be curious about that body in the shallow grave without proper precautions, right? No declarations of being happy and healthy should be necessary, if you catch my drift. If you have a healthy amount of curiosity, I think you'd be in a solid place of understanding. You would be in a place of adaptability because of that understanding. Like if you were to have a structural problem where your calculations don't make sense, you can always go back to conservation of energy to figure out where you went wrong. Or you might be able to transition your way out of a position that you've never been in while maintaining the same dance style because you knew the context and the history of your chosen dance style. Or if you can understand why your martial art exists, you can put yourself in a situation where your tool set will work, like Jesse Enkamp did in his video. I might link that in the description below. It's pretty interesting to watch. I'm sure there are other more relevant, more interesting examples, but I'm limited by my personal experiences here. Alright, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for listening.